Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Project Return online classroom. This is Miss Madison back again to show you the final bracelet from our bracelet video earlier this week. This is more of the chevron style and it is very similar and it still branches off that 4 formation that we did in the other video. So if you didn't watch that, definitely go watch it first because that's going to explain a lot of what I kind of skipped over in the beginning. Alright, so I started it off, like I said, very similar in the beginning of the other ones, with tying that knot and tying a loop a little bit smaller. This is what it looks like. Now before the other ones, we separated a lot of the colors so that they were all together. But with this one, what we're going to be doing is making our way more towards the middle. So what I'm going to do instead is instead of taking my red colors and bunching them together and putting it over here, they're actually going to go on opposite sides. You're going to do more of a mirrored action with it. So you're going to have your red over here, and then I did my white, and then my blue. And we're just going to separate it like that, so that the outside ones always correlate as they go inward. Before we were kind of more making our way left to right. This time we're going to be starting left to middle. Then we're going to go right to middle. And then we're going to tie our two middle parts together. So it's a little bit more complicated, but it is still, like I said, the 4 formation. So for starting this off, I'm going to be doing a very similar thing by making my 4 with this first string. So as I go across, you can start to see that 4. If I go like this, 4. And then I can tuck my string underneath it. And remember I said if you go closer to the string as you make your way up, you'll get a much tighter and neater knot. And your bracelet will start to look a little bit more like it's held together, because sometimes if you do really loose knots, it won't hold together as well. Now in the similar way as we did in the other ones, we're going to do it twice around each string. So I just did my red across my white once, and now I'm going to do it one other time. There's my 4. Keeping my thumb here in the corner is a good way for me to start going a little bit quicker once I get more in the habit of it. But when you're first starting off, please don't hesitate to go slow and take your time with it. Now actually, before I go ahead with that second knot, I'm actually going to tape down what I have of my bracelet so far. This is going to help me keep it a lot more stable, because as I was trying to twist that knot, I really was having a struggle with it starting to flip over. So I'm going to tape as I go down the rest of my bracelet. Alright, now I will do my second knot. There's my 4. Go underneath and through, and tighten up on the top. Sometimes if this happens, where it looks like the blue is going underneath, sometimes I'll just take my finger and kind of pull it out. Now what we're trying to do is not, like I said, not getting our red to go all the way to the right side like our other bracelet. Now that I have it in my second spot, I'm going to tie it around this blue once again twice, and then it'll be right in my middle. So we're going to do this twice more. Go. Tighten it up. Now my red string is right in the middle of my bracelet. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this way I'm actually going to be making a backwards 4. Looks a little bit weird, right? So we're kind of ignore the right string. We're just looking at my red and my white. You can start to see it's a little weird, but there's my backwards 4. But it is that same idea. Pulling it out, looping it around like that, and then tightening it. And then I'm going to do the same thing to my blue once again. Once. There's twice. Now the last and final step is we are now going to take our right string and we're going to loop it through to our left red string, and we're going to loop these together, and this is going to make that final little point in our chevron. There's one, and then there's two. There you go. Now sometimes I kind of like to make sure it lays flat, so whatever is that middle color, I'll make sure it's nice and flattened out before I move on. So that is pretty much the first step in creating this bracelet, and you're just going to repeat that process over and over again. So like I said, we are not making our way from left to right, we're making our way left to the middle, right to the middle, and then tying our two middle pieces together. Once you get to the end, you're going to tie around the knot, and then your bracelet is going to be all complete. Alright, so now that I have it all peeled off, I am now going to knot the ends real well using that same sort of technique we started in the beginning that you saw in the first video, by creating a little bit of a loop. It's probably a big loop at first. And then pulling our strings through. I keep it kind of loose at first so that I can get a good form where I want the knot to be, and then I tighten it up. Now this loop could be a little bit bigger. I'm working off of some bracelets that I'd already started previously before I made my loop smaller. So I'm probably still gonna have to double knot a few of these, but I would still, for yours, use that pinky rule. And I think it'll give you a loop a lot smaller and make your bracelet a lot tighter on your wrist. I'll tighten it again. And especially on like the second, and if you have to do a third one, I hope you would have to do a third loop, but if you needed to, keeping it loose can kind of help you guide your knot so that it is resting over top your first one. That way you're actually building on a knot and making it bigger, not just building a knot right next to another knot. And I'm going to trim off any excess that I have. And then once you have it all knotted, put your wrist down and you should have a completed bracelet. There you go. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed these little tutorials on how to make some simple bracelets if you guys have some thread or yarn lying around. I'll see you guys next week, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Bye.